What's going on, everybody? Welcome in 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Hope you had yourselves a wonderful weekend. As always, love the fact that you come and join us to start your week or whenever you check out the show. So today, last week we kind of took the vendor to the woodshed. That happens on this show time to time. But this week we have to talk about my friend and your friend, the salesman and dealer today. Friend of mine went out looking for vehicles. Now, look, let me just give you some background. It's a young woman, newly married, no children, good income, going out looking for a new vehicle, okay? I think she's a millennial. I don't mean that in a rude way. I just give you age context, that's all. And so she tells me about her journey, that she was going out looking to test drive cars because how else would she know what she wanted, right? That was her reaction. And so she decided to go out with her brother, husband preoccupied with other things for work. So she decided she wanted to go on a Saturday. It's when she had her free time, right? On a Saturday. And she was going to go out and test drive vehicles and see where that took her. But she didn't have a ton of intent to do anything, right? She was really trying to look. Well, in no way, shape, or form did she ever say this to anyone. All right? She just went onto a dealership's lot to look for a vehicle, right? So, first dealership she shows up to, she says, "Yeah, hi, looking for a new vehicle. Might be a used vehicle." The guy's basically like, "Which is it? We have two different departments." Okay? So she starts with used just to get a context of the thing, and she was already initially, right, turned off. So she goes in, and they bring her up, and they come up and they say, "Okay, welcome, let's go through." Sorry, I was going to show you the laptop there, but it wasn't on an SRP page. But basically the point is they were having her scroll through their dealership's website and told her to pick a car and to bring it forward. Like they would bring it up, right? So then they bring her up and they just literally throw her the keys. At no point yet have they asked about a trade, have they asked about financing options, have they asked about what else I'm telling you this verbatim the way she said it. Sean, they've asked me nothing, threw keys at me, and told me to take the car for a ride. That's it. So she did that. She got back. She's like, "All right, cool. Well, now I want to drive a Pilot and a this and a that," right? Just more keys getting tossed around, man. Tossed around. Cool. Done? Done. Awesome. Gets done driving the car. All right, cool. Let's talk numbers. First of all, talk numbers about what? This woman's driven 4 cars in 45 minutes. You haven't asked about a trade. You've done nothing. Salespeople, we've gotten potentially a touch lazy. I'm going to cover that on next week's show. I got a whole thing about all that and how this is going to look moving forward. But in this moment, here she is, step 1, dealership 1. That's what happens to her, okay? So she leaves. She goes to dealership 2. Dealership 2, she asks, "Hey, I'm here to see a certain minivan." Guy goes, "Don't have any. What else?" "Well, I was thinking about driving a 4Runner. Cool, here you go. Let's go for a ride," right? And he's asking, right before they even test drive, finance, pay cash, still nothing about a trade. And I've got to be honest with you, knowing what I know about our industry, and that the idea of acquiring vehicles off the curb is a hot topic, I'm confused why no one's even asking. Why it's not even happening as a discussion point. We're not building rapport. We're not selling anything at this point, right? So she's telling me this story, right? I'm like trying not to get super frustrated because this is my industry. This is my life. And she says, "Yeah, then the guy goes with us and tells us his whole life story. It doesn't allow us to get in a word edgewise." All right, cool. They come back. They do a hard TO on her. What are you looking to, what are you looking to purchase? What numbers can we get to you? Once again, having given no buying signals and really still hadn't even talked about what she was trying to do with a trade or a payment, right? None of it. Or even a cash price. Doesn't matter. None of it. Third store. She goes in, has an experience where someone says, "Cool. Oh, did you want to see the new version of that?" Great, right? She felt like she was a part of a process. They started to talk to her brother about his car. He's got a unique vehicle as well. So they're talking to him. "Oh, this is cool," right? There's some slight rapport establishment being done here, which I like. I'm glad to hear. The store makes me happy, right? And then they're like, yeah, well, if you don't take this car, right, we're going to sell it to the next guy. And so you should probably do it right now. So we do all this stuff to build a rapport. And then we come down with the hammer. And then she leaves. They text her 30 minutes later and tell her they got a $5,000 deal on it. Sorry, have a nice day. So two things there. One, who the fuck texts that to a customer, right? Who texts that to a customer and why? Second, 30 minutes after she leaves is no time to try and put any sort of a takeaway close on her, especially if you had no idea what she was actually into or what she was doing with the rest of her freaking purchase. So this is, all right, so 4 stores on a Saturday, goes in, the next Saturday goes to 3 more stores, has a very similar experience at every single one, gives everyone, her real email address and a fake phone number, and I don't blame her for that. That's just the way life is. And so no one's followed up. No one's done anything, right? So it got me thinking. I'm noticing through the data that I look at month in and month out that we are seeing a ton of VDP activity, right? Really low expense on VDP-driven views. But the hard leads, the emails, the phones, the cost of lead there is going through the roof because there are less of them, right? So this hearing her experience really kind of solidified for me that the consumer is shopping again. But they're not buying right away. So the 28-day turn, right? These OEMs that have gone to turn number as the number of their future. I cannot wait until that number turns back around and they abandon that number and go back to trunk money and heavy rebates and all this other bullshit. Because they will. Because they have no choice. They think they have choice. They don't have choices. They're going to continue to fill dealers' lots, whether dealers continue to sell 40 or 50 units a month or 100. It does not matter. They will fill the lots because that part of their business is back up and running. All right? So the consumer right now, though, is shopping. And can you blame them? All the shit going on around us? Can you blame them for shopping and maybe not pulling a trigger? I can't. I know most of you, Sean, that's ridiculous. You're in the car business. How could you say that? I can't. It's a moment of instability, but it's a moment. Just like anything else that's happened in the last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, it's a moment. But this moment solidifies for me that recently shoppers are shopping again. But that means there's going to be length to that. That means there's going to be length to that follow-up. That means there's going to have to be a better road to the sale than take my keys, take my price, or get out. That probably ain't the game much. Now, I know I'm going to hear, Sean, that's still how it is in such and such a place. I'm sure it is in such and such a place. But for the majority of places, the reality is the market has gone back to shopping. It's compressed itself, and we need to be better all the way around. So I'm going to get into this next week. We're going to have a whole show about salespeople. Look, the reality is what comes up must come down. The difference is how you handle the down and what you're truly, truly prepared for. That's what I want you to think about. So this is just one customer's perspective, all right? But she was shopping. And a couple days after I saw her, or even moments later, I think it was hours later, I had a call with a client, and he said, Sean, I had a showroom full of people Saturday. I didn't sell any cars. And I said, well, that sounds like people are shopping and not buying. And he said, yeah, but, and he stopped himself, and I said, but what? And I got the feeling he was going to say, but we got to be better. And that is what he said. And that is what he meant. We have to be better. So, as an industry, let's go out, let's be better, and let's appreciate that the customer journey may have gotten some length back to it, but we all know how to do this, and we've all been through this before. Have yourselves a great week. Tune in next week to hear more about what salesmen have to do and women have to do to get better in today's market.